Okay, another inequality for us to grapple with. It has a 0 on the right-hand side, so that's the first thing we look for. Now, we're supposed to factor this, and the way it's written as two separate terms like this is a little bit awkward. This can be easier to work with if we combine it all into one big fraction, which will mean put that over 1, and then get a common denominator, which would be x squared, of course. So multiply the denominator by x squared, multiply the numerator by x squared, and when you multiply all that out, you get 1 over x squared minus x cubed over x squared. And if you mash that together into one fraction, 1 minus x cubed over x squared. Okay, a little bit better. Now we're supposed to factor it. Can we factor this at all? X squared doesn't really factor anymore, but this is a difference of cubes. Do you remember you can factor a difference of cubes, a cubed minus b cubed, as follows. It becomes a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. And this one's fairly simple as far as the a and b concerned. The a, the first one, is just 1. The b, the root of this, is simply x. So when we write this factored, we're going to get 1 minus x, 1 minus x, and for the second piece we get 1 squared plus 1 times x plus x squared. I'm not delighted with the order that's in. I think I may fix it in a minute, but there's x squared. And all this together is supposed to be greater than 0. Okay, so if we go over this looking for critical numbers, what do we get? From 1 minus x, if we have 1 minus x equals 0, that gives us x equals 1. That's one of our critical values. This, it turns out, is not factorable. It doesn't have any zeros, so we don't get any critical values out of this. And from x squared, we get, if x is 0, this whole thing becomes undefined. So definitely we have trouble at 0 and at 1, or rather, I shouldn't say trouble. We have critical values at 0 and at 1, which are interesting enough to investigate. So let's see how it behaves there. Here's 0, here's 1. Draw some lines. Look exactly on those points, and we'll look in between them. And for our pieces, we've got 1 minus x. We have 1 plus x squared. I have a feeling that's always positive, but we'll check it just to be sure. We have x squared. And when we're done with all of that, because I'm kind of hurting for space here, I'm just going to write f of x. We'll use the compressed version for the first time. So by f of x, I mean this entire left-hand side. So it'll be the first sign times the second sign divided by the third sign. And we'll see how that comes out. So if x is lower than 0, if it's a negative number, then 1 minus x is like 1 plus some value. It will be positive every time. So we start out with a positive. Then we get 1 minus 0, still positive. Then we get 1 minus 1/2 or some number like that that's between 0 and 1, still positive. Then we get 1 minus 1. And if x gets bigger than 1, that term goes negative. Here, if x is, let's say, like minus 10, 1 plus negative 10 is negative 9, plus 100, 91, positive. I use 10 just because I'm fast at squaring it, and it makes it easy to tell if a number is bigger than or less than 1. You can take anything you like. You could use minus 1/2 or minus 1, or anything in here should give the same result. If x is 0, we get 1 plus a couple of zeros, positive. If x is something like 1/2, we get 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 is definitely positive. If x is 1, for sure positive. And if x is any bigger positive number, this comes out positive as well. So it looks like I was right. This factor here doesn't know how to be anything except positive. X squared with a negative number is positive. 0 squared is 0. And then any positive number squared definitely comes out positive. So for our signs, we get plus times plus over plus is going to be positive. Here we get plus times plus over 0, which is going to be undefined. Plus times plus over plus is plus. 0 times plus over plus is 0. Minus times plus over plus is minus. Okay, so this thing goes positive, undefined, positive, 0, negative. And they want where it is greater than 0, meaning only positives are part of our solution. So this part and this part. Meaning for solution we get everything up to 0, everything from minus infinity up to but not including 0, and anything between 0 and 1. So from 0 up to but not including 1, the end.